The police shooting of Deon K. in D.C. and Dejon Kizzy in L.A., Daniel Prue being suffocated in NY, no justice for Breonna and Jacob Blake, Joe Biden's photo ops and empty speeches are disrespectful because he still refuses to end qualified immunity and continues to protect bad cops. Qualified immunity makes it so that cops are, whatever they do, they have an immunity to it because it's part of their job, and just in case if they do get hemmed up, they don't have to pay for it. The municipality pays for it. The police department pays for it, which means that it's really the taxpayers paying people for this. Now, as we get started, as we start to open up, as we get closer to our main topic for the night, are you taking the vaccine? Are you taking what you're hearing hook, line, and sinker? Because that will determine if you take the vaccine, is if you're taking what you see hook, line, and sinker, right? All right, so let me go here. Okay, let me go in here real quick. All right, so look, are you taking this hook, line, and sinker? I think many of us are. I mean, I just had a interesting debate this morning with a guy in Written Prose about the difference between Republican coons and Democrat coons, and I'm neither. I'm an American black. And so that's what it is. Okay, so people, look. This is what's happening as far as Deon K. Let's watch this video real quick. Viewer discretion is advised, okay? Viewer discretion is advised. It's graphic, y'all. It's graphic as we play it. So let me set it up. This is the body cam of the police officer. This happened in D.C. Deon K. in D.C. They got a call from someone, kind of like Tamir Rice in Cleveland. They said they saw someone with a gun, and so the police answered the call. A lot of police, as you see in the end, as you watch what you see in the body cam, right? But two officers pull up, and the officer gets out, and he's in pursuit of the person. So let's watch this now. Okay, right. Now, usually the media stops it where it looks like the gun is in Deon's hands. Usually the media that you trust so much to tell you about what's good about Trump, what's good about Biden, or what's not good about Trump, but they never tell you what's not good about Biden, right? The same media who you trust to tell you about the vaccines or to tell you about COVID-19, coronavirus, are the same people who freeze framed this about 5 frames back to make it look like he was in his hand, like the gun is in his hand, like he's some kind of threat, like Deon K was some kind of threat to the officer. Okay, this is the media that you're listening to, and you're believing and taking stuff hook, line, and sinker. You're taking it hook, line, and sinker. Okay, look. And my wife and I looked at the footage that they show. They always freeze it, and I said, why is the gun positioned like that, right? We framed it to show you that he was throwing the gun. He was tossing the gun to surrender. He was tossing the gun because he had no beef. He probably had a beef with somebody in the hood. Love's gonna get you, whatever it is. KRS-One, Love's gonna get you. Go listen to that. What what else in the hell am I supposed to do? What happens when the police close in? They shot down one, they shot down two. So tell me what am I supposed to do? You gotta start listening to more hip hop and listening to the messages in it. So look, he's actually tossing the gun. He's not a threat to the officers. So watch this now, because in Cops and Robbers, the way that we played cops and robbers as children, when they allowed us to have real guns that really looked real, when you were captured, you threw your gun down and you went to surrender. So watch this. So he's tossing the gun, right? He's not a threat to the officer. Remember, they cut it a different way on the news, but he's tossing him. He shoots him in his stomach. And when you look at his face, he goes, oh. And he looks at the officer. We froze this so you can see this. He looks at the officer and says, and his face looks like, you shot me. Oh, he's 18. He's a baby. He's a baby. I'm 49 years old. That is a child. I'm going to be 50 next year. That could be my child. He was a baby. He was a baby. 18, tossing the gun away like cops and robbers. And he looked at him and said, in his face, he was like, when you get a gut shot and that's hollow point, I'm surprised that he was even looking anymore, because hollow point bounces all through you, hits here, winds up in your shoulder, goes down, lands in your liver, lands in your kidney, comes out, hits in your groin after it hits the initial point. He's shot in the stomach. That's a gut shot. You don't come back from that. He was a baby. He was a baby playing cops and robbers, and the cops shot him. Didn't say, he said don't move, but he didn't give a chance. This is that split second or half a second that Donald Trump talks about that he's dead wrong about. Now I'll tell you, he's dead wrong about that. He's a baby. 18. Playing cops and robbers. Wasn't even beefing with the police. That's why he threw it away. Maybe he would have been better to have been pulling.
Right.
Because this guy, in my opinion, as a police officer, is cowardly. Tracy Latrice says the power is using your vote as leverage to get bills passed. MLK didn't only march, he did both. He told the politicians if they wanted to get his people's vote past the Civil Rights Act, the power is in the vote. Right? 213-943-3358. The phone lines are open. Call in, then after you call in, press 1, and we'll know that you want to be on air and that you're not just listening to the show. Listen, he was a baby playing cops and robbers. He would have, if it had been a fellow, I'm just gonna say this, a fellow hood in the hood, and they were running up, they probably would have been shooting at each other, right? But he was cops and robbers. They shot down one, they shot down two. So tell me what I'm supposed to do. KRS-One blueprint, right? The original blueprint, right? So look, so let's continue on with this, right? Because the body cam doesn't lie. He was a baby, 18, dying with a gut shot. So he looks at him, he says, he's looking at him like, you shot me. Now listen to what the cop was concerned with. He tossed the gun. Where did he toss? He tossed the gun in.
Where is it? Where is it?
I don't know. I'm looking for the gun. He's up there. I did.
A lot of police coming out for one person, right? A lot of police, right? Meanwhile, a young kid walks around with a semi-automatic weapon, traveled in from Wisconsin. Traveled in from Illinois to Wisconsin, and he gets water. Thanks for being around. He gets the benefit of the doubt, right? So let's continue on.
Over me. Where's the... Hey!
He's so worried about finding the gun because the gun tells him. I'm trying to figure out how the gun, the little boy must have had an arm because he tossed it. He underthrew like playing softball. He tossed it to the side and it tossed way 50 feet from the initial scene. 50 feet. Let's continue.
Hey, I got it. He's got a do-rag on his head. Black male, do-rag on his head, 5'4", 100 pounds, wearing a black shirt.
Five,
5'4" and 100 pounds.
5'4" and 100 pounds. 5'4" and 100 pounds. A black male with a do-rag. Right? That's what they were saying, right? They were saying black male, 100 pounds, with a do-rag. Only worried about the gun, recovering the gun, because they didn't want to be caught up in a situation. The situation that he made. Go ahead. You can talk.
Yeah, 5'4", 100 pounds. So with a gun that he's tossing away. So when do we start shooting? Well, we've been doing it, but why aren't these officers that's doing these things being prosecuted? Because my thing is, he not one time aimed the gun at an officer. Not one time did he aim a gun at an officer, yet he ends up dead when he got the gun couldn't even been misconstrued to be an aim at an officer. He was tossing it, the angle that he was holding it on while he was standing there, he tossed it, and then he was coming to them. They said, don't move. Okay, he's tossing the gun. I'm trying to figure out, in the quickness, in the split second timing of things, there's a lot going on in a split second of time, but how do you draw the conclusion that you should put a bullet in this boy? And he's not even aiming at you. He's not even a threat. Is his very presence a threat? Are there some kind of underlying laws or something that says, oh yeah, there he is, the stand your ground law. I fear for my life. How are you fearing? We need to insert something about the reasonability and of fear. Should this cause you to fear? What is the situation that should cause you to fear? The only thing would be somebody aiming a gun at you